Hey, this is Parker, back talking about the Atlanta housing market. Now, what I'm about to tell you is all Atlanta-specific info. This is not generic national information, and that's pretty important because Atlanta is a very unique market. What's happening in Atlanta is certainly not what's happening in LA, San Francisco, or Seattle. And if you've been watching Atlanta and maybe waiting for prices to come back down, well, definitely stay tuned because I've got some good news for you. Prices are falling, somewhat, and I'll give you all the details. You probably heard that the home market is down, and there are just countless variations of these, doom and gloom market crash headlines that you see every day. There are definitely some bad trends right now. Mortgage interest rates are at their highest point, I think, since 1997. Inflation is at a 40-year high, and we are almost certainly in a recession at this point. So there's plenty of bad news out there. How is this affecting the housing market, and how is it affecting Atlanta specifically? The market here really flattened out over the summer. After the first round of interest rate hikes hit, we saw the market really start to soften. We saw a lot of inventory suddenly hit the market as well, as people realized they'd missed the peak of the market and they were scrambling to go ahead and sell as soon as they could. So prices were very stable there for several months. Demand started to soften because the interest rates had gone up, and inventory was coming online to kind of catch up with the excess demand as well. So things really flattened out for several months during the summer. Now in the fall, as interest rates have continued to go up, what we're seeing is a continued softening in the Atlanta market. In September, for the first time in many, many years, the average home price in Atlanta fell, and that number came in right around 2%. And what I'm seeing this month as I'm looking through the closes is that home prices are probably going to fall another 1%, maybe 2% just in October. So I had originally predicted that home values would fall about 5% by the end of 2022, and I think we're definitely on track for that so far. Now, in my last couple of videos, I've been, for many reasons, predicting a gradual cooling and flattening off of the Atlanta market. And I've had a lot of comments and emails about, what a big dummy I am. I mean, don't you see that the Atlanta market is beginning to crash? The question I always ask people is, what part of Atlanta are you talking about? Are you talking about the brand new subdivision that's on the edge of a bad neighborhood that has absolutely no amenities and no economic anchors? That's going to be the first place that's going to take a hit when times get tough. So there will be pockets of Atlanta that will go down much more than the average. But one thing you need to realize is that Atlanta is really an economic powerhouse. Every day we're attracting more businesses, more investment, and more brain power to this city and this state because we've got great economic policies in place that make it easy to do business here. Money Magazine just voted Atlanta the best place to live in America, and we'll have a video coming up on that really soon. But needless to say, Atlanta has in many ways replaced New York, LA, and Chicago in many people's minds as a top-tier American city. Like I said, Atlanta was undervalued for years relative to the quality of life that you can have here. I sound like a broken record, but when you compare, Atlanta's quality of life and cost of living to New York, LA, and Chicago, and so many other major American cities, Atlanta is really just finding its natural value, and the qualities that are drawing people here right now will continue to bring people to the city for many, many, many years. And frankly, the negative qualities that are driving people out of New York and LA and Chicago will continue to do so, and I've helped a lot of those people find houses in Atlanta. So what's happened in Atlanta over the last couple of years as the market got overheated was driven by high demand, but it was actually driven more by excessively low interest rates. Mortgage rates and home prices are the opposite ends of a seesaw. As mortgage rates go down, prices will naturally go up, and the opposite is true as well. As those mortgage rates go up, the prices of the homes will naturally fall. The best possible outcome with these interest rate hikes is to find a balance point where you have relative price stability. The cost of borrowing is not extremely high or extremely low, but kind of just right in that sweet spot that maintains home price stability. Mortgage rates just crossed 7%. So are we at that balancing point? Have we hit the sweet spot? Well, Probably not at this point. We are going to need to see some price reductions before the numbers start to work for the average home buyer. Now, for the current market, if you've been looking at Atlanta and considering a move here, but you've been wanting to wait for prices to kind of come down a little bit, now is a really good time to start paying attention because prices have started to come down and inventory is way up. Let me tell you a quick story. I've been working with a buyer, I'll call him Ami, and he's been looking for a very specific property up in Beaufort. He's looking for a 2-story home with a master on the main so his parents can come and visit, stay a while, and not have to deal with the stairs. Now, I know Beaufort pretty well, and I know that hundreds, if not thousands, of these houses exist out there. But, as I've been searching over the last year, we would find, 1 or 2 of these properties available at any given time, and they were always at top dollar. Last week, I ran the search again and came up with 21 properties. And the incredible thing is many of these houses had already been on the market for a month. So it's the old thing, something's got to give. If you've got a house that's been sitting on the market for a month and there's 20 other comparable properties on the market, what's the one thing you can change? You can't change the location. The only thing you can change is the price. If you're a buyer going into a community where there are 21 comparable homes on the market, you really have a tremendous advantage. You have a lot of leverage. Add to that, many people I've spoken with have very, very large down payments, so they're not as sensitive to the interest rates. They're more interested in what's that top line number, how much am I paying for this house? As I said in my last 2 updates, I still think prices will fall about 5% by the end of the year. And with the typical slowdown in the winter market, we could be seeing as much as, 7, 8, even 9% discounts by the end of February. So if you've been patiently waiting to get into the Atlanta market, your next 4 to 6 months is really going to present a great window of opportunity for you. As people get adjusted to the new interest rates and prices start to recalibrate, hopefully we'll find that balance point on the seesaw. As always, if you're thinking of making the move to Atlanta, please feel free to reach out with your questions. My contact information is in the description box below. Always here to help. Thanks.